Hello, my name is John Rose, and in this video I'm going to take a closer look at 3 reasons why some people think the raw vegan diet is a fad diet. Number 1, ignorance. Number 2, denial. Number 3, our subsequent need for money. The main reason why some people believe that the raw vegan diet is a fad diet is ignorance. They just don't know any better. When you look into it and study this in more depth, you find out that cooked food is a fad diet, that we were eating raw food for 99% of our existence. And I got one simple question to put these fools in their place. Ask them, what did we eat before we mastered fire? Keeping in mind that it took a long time after we mastered fire before we were foolish enough to start cooking our food consistently. Put the human existence on a football field. We went 2/3 into our existence 2 million years ago, and that's when our brains nearly doubled in size. Not really sure why. Some fools will try to convince you that it was cooking. And that can't happen because we didn't have the brain capacity to do it. So we went 4 million years into our existence. We'll round up to the 67-yard line. And that's when our brains went from around 400 cc's to almost 800 cc's. And of course it kept growing until we started cooking our food. And then we went another 1.2 million years on this football field. Another 20 yards. And that's when we finally mastered fire with this brilliant brain. So here we are, 87% of our existence, we didn't have the capacity or the ability to even cook our food. What were we eating then? Oh, it's a fad diet. Oh, really? Okay, now we're at the 87-yard line. That's when we finally mastered fire. We went another 12 yards all the way down to the 99-yard line, 99% to our existence, or the 1-yard line. And that's when we started consistently cooking our food. Cooking our food is a fad diet, my friends. If anyone thinks that raw food is a fad diet, they just don't know the facts. Now, it's easy to understand why someone would say that if they didn't have very much information, because it looks like it is something that's just taken off recently. And yet, you'll see that it goes back several hundred years when they tried to get this message out there. Now, for those vegetarians out there that want to say that the raw vegan diet is a fad diet, have you ever read the book by Howard Williams, The Ethics of Diet? You know why he wrote that book? He got tired of people saying that vegetarianism is a fad diet. No, it's not. That's why he wrote the book. He went back and said, look at all these brilliant people in the past, thousands of years ago, were eating this way, and they knew it was better, it was superior. And then, if you look at the second reason why some people might think the raw vegan diet is a fad diet, it's all about denial. It's all about protecting their pleasures. They came up with a really interesting study back, it was published online October 9th, 2011, and they called it Unrealistic Optimism. And what they had done is they hooked MRIs up to a bunch of people, and they asked them 80 questions. And whenever they asked them a question they didn't want to entertain, like should we eat raw food, they shut their frontal lobe off. They had a mental processing error. That's how we run to denial. So why do some people believe that the raw food diet is a fad diet? They ain't got no frontal lobe. They're shutting it off. You're typing in the information. Instead of hitting the return button, you're hitting the delete button. Remember, we run to denial to protect our pleasures, as well as avoid those unwanted aspects of ourselves that Carl Jung called our shadow. Remember, we have a very selective memory for a reason. It's part of our defense mechanism. If we could remember all the stupid things we've done in our lives, we'd probably want to blow our brains out. So we conveniently forget them. Selective memory. But what happens when it comes to our pleasures, denial is huge. We don't want to entertain the idea that something we love, that we're under a spell under, is not what we should do. Remember what Plato said, whatever deceives men seems to produce a magical enchantment. People who want to think that raw vegan food is a fad diet are protecting their pleasures. They're in denial. They don't want to admit that this is what they're supposed to do. Now, the third reason why some people might think that a raw vegan diet is a fad has to do with our subsequent need for money. Now, I've gone over our subsequent needs before. If you look at the ultimate solution, I have an 11-part video series where I identify all 281 pieces of the puzzle We have 10 subsequent needs because we're disconnected from cooking our food. So it's quite ironic, isn't it? Got dang gnats out here and trying to get my sweat on my body. That we are, that one of the reasons why we can't accept this is because we're disconnected. The cooked food creates this subsequent need for money. And now, when people start making money promoting vegetarianism, they don't want to not make money. So that's a problem. I even did a video, I did quite a few videos actually, going after John McDougall, because he wrote an article a while back entitled, "Are you a sickly vegetarian?" And he slams raw food going, "You guys are sickly." That's why I slammed him, and everyone got attacked me saying, "Why are you attacking such a good man? He's helping people." Yeah, he is, because there's 5 mistakes. When you stop cooking or eating animals, you see an improvement in your health. So he's doing some good. Anytime you correct all 5 mistakes, you're doing good, right? But it's not the definitive answer. It's not the ultimate solution. It doesn't correct the fall of mankind, and that's the cooking. So for anyone to come out and say raw food is a fad diet, they're woefully ignorant. They're in a major state of denial. And now it's all about the money. They're making money doing this. And our subsequent need for money keeps us where we are in a lot of ways. Now, our subsequent need for money is not the same thing as greed. Greed has to do with the dark side of our behavior. It's a different piece number. That's piece number 3. Denial is piece 16 and 52. Is that right? 51. Addiction is denial. 15, 16 and 51. Yeah. So denial strikes twice. It keeps us from finding the knowledge, and it keeps us from applying the knowledge. Now, some people will say, "Oh, well, raw food is just not sustainable." Well, it is hard when everyone else is going the wrong way. It's not easy to break away from the herd. So that's understandable. And then some people say, "Well, what's so bad about having some steamed broccoli?" Remember, there's 5 main mistakes we're making. And my approach is, the less of those mistakes we make, the better. Do we have to be 100% perfect? It's a lot easier, I can tell you that much. Cooking's a slippery slope. Remember, Plato, whatever deceives us puts us under a spell. So that's what's getting most of us. It's that hunger spell that we're under that puts us in that state of denial where we don't want to accept that. Now, if you want to have some steamed broccoli, here's a good way to eat it. Make a real big salad, steam some broccoli, put it on the salad. The problem with everything cooked, it's a slippery slope. It's easier to be 100% than it is 95 or 90. If you have that type of personality where you can have a little bit, I don't see any problem with it. Although it is a slippery slope, and it's real easy to go from a little bit to a lot. So in the beginning, don't beat yourself up. Have what I call a splurge list. When I first started making dietary changes, I had a splurge list. And I think everyone should have that. I think it's a good thing to have, because we don't want to put too much pressure on us and say we can never do this or never do this. And what I found for myself is my splurge list kept getting better and better and better and better. And what is a splurge list? Well, it's something that, you find those favorite foods that you just don't want to let go of initially. Well, put them in that splurge list and have them every now and then. You don't want to have them all the time, because then now you're in, what was the word I used earlier? You're gorging yourself. It's not a splurge list, it's a gorge list. So if you only have it every now and then, not a problem. Unless it slides you back into that. So 5 main mistakes based on 5 things we mastered, all because our brains doubled in size. 11 main events that have drastically changed the fate of mankind. The biggest one of all is the cooking of our food. The second thing that made it bad is the eating of animals. So cooked vegetarians are going a long ways by getting people to not eat the animals. That's really good. But you're still cooking your food. You're still disconnected. You're still part of the problem. And if you're out there saying that a raw vegan diet is a fad diet, you're evil. But no man is clever enough, or a woman, to know all the evil he does. I just did a video on that. And that's where we are right now, my friends. We're living in hell. We're in Plato's cave. We're in a major state of denial, woefully ignorant, thinking that cooking is an art. And now we're under a spell. How do you break that spell? It's simple. Take a solid food vacation. Got a playlist down below. And when you take a solid food vacation, you're in for a treat.